What is up, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube guys? I am Chris Smith, and today I got another review for you today. We're going to be talking about The Expanse. This thing's a little bit late, but I'm getting this shit done. Let's talk about it here right now. Now, before you say anything, I know what you're thinking. Well, why am I wearing this hat? Well, I'll tell you why I'm wearing this goddamn hat. Because I want to. It's a nice hat. Isn't it a nice hat, though? But let's get to The Expanse, episode 3 of the season 1, right? Now, this episode pretty much picks up exactly where we left off. We're holding his crew. They got taken by the Mars officers or the Mars Navy, whatever. And then as we see on this thing, they're kind of being taken prisoner. But more specifically, Alex is taken, by himself for some reason. And then you kind of almost start to wonder, like, is this guy a bit of a traitor? Is he not a bit of a traitor? We don't know yet. So eventually we kind of find out certain things. Now, in this episode, pretty much everybody had secrets. And I kind of like that, but at the same time, you almost have to be like, well, first of all, how the hell do you put anybody on your goddamn crew and you don't know anything really about them? Because everybody was kind of having these secrets, and I just thought it was a little bit uh, funny in some aspects of the thing. So eventually, once they all get taken and whatnot, and by the way, the guy from Royal Paints, I get it, he's supposed to be the witty guy, I'm funny guy, but at the exact same time, he seems very, very annoying to the point where it's just like, you're not acting funny, you're acting annoying. That's just kind of you, just in general. But yes, once they get taken, then everybody's kind of getting interrogated. Uh, and one of the officers, they take Holden hostage, not hostage, but they take him into interrogation. And I like the interrogation scene because for some reason, he's asking him these questions, and these officers are trying to turn Holden's crew against each other, everybody against each other, Naomi and Alex and everybody and whatnot, to build up and get some answers, get a clear path as to who is traitor or whatever it may be. But we find out what it was. Now, when they interrogate Holden, there's an officer that pretty much takes a pill. It looks like a fish oil pill for some reason, and apparently he does it a couple of times in this episode, and it got me wondering, what exactly is those pills? Is it like a truth serum of sorts? Is it, like a confidence builder? What is it? Because it seemed very interesting, because he took it a couple of times while he was doing this interrogation. But eventually he starts throwing out the assumption, or he believes the Mars officer, and tells Holden that Naomi is OPA. She is highly intelligent, and what the hell is she doing on, a shipping crate or whatever it may be, when she's highly more qualified. Everybody keeps on saying that Mars blew up the Canterbury, and now people are coming, after Mars, thinking they, started an attack and we're possibly going to have a war. And then you see the government officials saying, we got to make sure of this, because if we go after Mars hard, right, we're starting a war between Earth and Mars, and that shit is going to get hectic. Now, he also, though, as I said, when he says Naomi's OPA and whatnot, then Holden starts to kind of, think about, maybe she is a bit of a traitor. Maybe she was, a bit of a secret agent destined to get this mission done. But then I had to almost be like, first of all, how can you even think that? Now, granted, maybe she is, but how can you even think that for Holden? Because Naomi didn't say shit about, his secret about, learning the distress signal, and he just kind of came after her, and she kind of addressed it that and whatnot. So I thought that was interesting. Now, Miller eventually finds out that there's a bit of a link between Holden's crew going after the distress signal and then Jenny Mao, because she was on that exact same ship that they went on to look at. Now, while he's looking for her, and his story is interesting, somebody that didn't really work, and I'll get to that soon, but yeah. He eventually meets Jared Harris, and he's kind of interrogating him. And I enjoyed Jared Harris in this episode, and I like Jared Harris just in general. And I liked him on Mad Men. He was a pretty good Moriarty, and yeah, I've seen good things from Jared Harris. That's just what I like to say. But yes, also, you in this episode, you do get to, for Holden's crew, you do get to see that everybody has some secrets. Not everybody's who they say they were or who they are. And that's kind of like what I liked. So while you see the government officials, and some of the government stuff is not that interesting, I'm just going to say that. But some of it is, for the most part, when they're trying to when they're trying to really make sure that Mars is not the case, and they eventually find it out, but just in time, it's not it's not, in time. So therefore, you realize when Holden and his crew and whatnot are captured and whatnot, they meet the captain, and then the captain is saying that you know Mars was set up. Somebody's setting up Mars to start a war, and then that got me interesting. So somebody is working either on the inside to start this war and set up Mars for some reason, this big galactic shit, or somebody's working from the outside or the inside. It could be either one. So I wonder who could that possibly be. But then, like I said, this is, well, I didn't say it, but I'll say it. This is pretty much spoilers. It's been a couple of days, people. But yes, while that's going on and towards the end and whatnot, you see that the word of Mars having been set up, and Mars' name is not fully clear yet. So therefore, on Earth and on Mars specifically, but mainly Earth, there's riots breaking out in the streets, and Miller's trying to like stop it and whatnot. He's caught in the crosshairs. And then, him and Jay Hernandez, they're trying to stop this thing and whatnot. And then, you see people dying in the streets because this is a very legitimate thing. It's like if there was a war going on right now, right? Those sad Paris attacks and whatnot, and that started a war right here, right now, then obviously people would be very upset. They'd be going after, some people that look the typical way of sorts. But yes, and then you see people dying in the streets and whatnot, and then Jay Hernandez character, which is just like, he's walking, and then he eventually gets grabbed by these couple of guys, and then they just kill him. And then that's it. That's how we ended this episode. Now, when Jay Hernandez pretty much gets killed, my assumption was, oh well, because he wasn't a lead. Because if you looked at the credits at the very beginning, of this, pretty much the season, really, it's just a guest star Jay Hernandez. So I knew he wasn't going to be here that long, so it wasn't that big of a shocker. And to be fair, he wasn't that interesting. He was honestly probably one of the more less interesting characters of the show. And that's just what I personally think. But hey, that's how we ended it. Holden and his crew, they're all kind of, judging each other and kind of being turned against each other and whatnot. But Miller is still on a hunt, and he's seeing this death and all this shit on Earth. And, Mars' name is yet to be cleared. So we still got a lot of tension and a lot of interesting things to address. I'm wondering what are those fish bills that the officer would be taking. But this is the review of The Expanse. I am quite tired, but I got this done because people actually like The Expanse reviews, apparently. So I watched it. I enjoyed it. Some interesting questions. I didn't really care for Jay Hernandez's character's death, but then again, I didn't really care for Jay Hernandez's character. So, but yes, comment, subscribe, like, help me get to 60 subscribers by the new year. Please, just subscribe. I'm Chris Smith. I'm signing out.